in the context of Tyrese and whoever it might be, maybe, but that's never gonna happen. So
Nah, it probably won't, but that'd just be funny.
It won't happen on Marvel's part. Casting Tyrese's Blade is something Sony would do.
oh my god, poor Sony.
Horrible.
It's the truth, though. This episode is sponsored by Dizzle, the premium mango liqueur, cognac mixed with tequila, mixed with hints of greatness. This thing mixes with everything, literally. Check us out on our Instagram page. You can see all the shit that we've made so far. It is fucking pure genius. Go get you a bottle of Dizzle right now. This episode is also sponsored by Heaven's Pantry's Excalibur, the vegan brownie that everyone loves, from the children to the elderly. This thing is a smash hit. Go get it now. Did I mention it was vegan?
I also want to shout out to one of the junkers out there, B Rabbit. She's been buying since we put it out there, and her and her family have been eating boxes. So shout out to all y'all buying and supporting.
And I'm sure she uses the promo code TalkJunk69 to get 10% off every episode. Look at that.
Every order. Come on.
Every order. Every order. Stay tuned. We're talking MCU. Dismos, I seen you. Dismos in the building.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to
BreakRoom, yo.
Your favorite rapper's favorite podcast.
See, this is why I like your show. You guys charismatic. You know the right things to say.
That was weird. It was very, very weird. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Break Room, the podcast that comes to you live every Saturday night. The usual suspects are in the buildings. Jason, Jasmine, Dre, and Danger Zone himself, Talon. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. I'm slightly disappointed in myself because I almost got a total tech for every day of the month, and I was 3 away. But I got to a point where I was getting total techs on my day off, essentially.
Whatever that means, but
Yeah,
it's
congratulations.
Thank you.
right. I was getting there, but I didn't know what that meant.
I mean, if
Well, if you want to know about it, bro, I can tell you all about total tech.
Sounds like Nugenics.
No. Not this version. Maybe down the line. I don't know what the fuck they're planning, but right now it's pretty solid.
Dre, what's going on though?
I was like, what's that noise? Is that music playing?
Yeah, StreamYard got these new things there. I guess I'm trying them out.
I was like, that threw me.
That was kind of
Good.
creepy.
Music in the background, like we're in the elevator or something.
Just like that.
Yeah, nah, that shit was kind of weird.
Creepy background music, like, oh, this is oddly serene.
Should play that when you're doing the Heaven's Pantry thing in the background.
Yeah, there you
So,
go. Yeah, usually there's the stuff that you would do before a show, but we're the break room. We do whatever we want when we want. So, as one of the episodes back, you saw this man going through all the filters.
Which I should have had on today because of what we're talking about.
Right? What's stopping you?
I would say, yeah, what's going on?
I have to go. All right, give me 2 seconds.
That's going to be more than 2 seconds.
He has to go out and
So,
then come
how you doing, Jess?
back tired. I haven't slept really good. I miss my family.
Do they miss you?
Hell yeah, they miss me. They cried when I left. Jason was like, they
That
make me
was
feel like they cried when I left, and Jason was like, they make me feel like I should move out because they don't even want to stay with me. They love it.
that's good. That's good. You got any news for us this week?
I'm in North Carolina. That's my news. Gang, gang. I wasn't even supposed to be here, guys. You know that?
What else were you gonna do right now, then?
Nothing. Probably sleep.
Word. Sleeping's for the dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, sleeping's kind of lame. I do it all.
They be telling you, oh, sleep 8 hours. Nigga, that's most of the day.
I think I only slept maybe 2 hours.
Just get 2 hours more, you'll be good.
I'll probably sleep good tonight though. I went
Yeah,
to,
6 hours is straight. You could be all right with 6 hours.
I'll be okay with 4 hours. 4 hours is good for me too.
I'm back.
4 hours.
Oh, hello there, darling.
Who's that? Is that Doctor Strange?
I believe so. I believe so.
You ain't
That's
been
Dr. Weird.
Oh shit! The shit does work.
Oh, this guy. You see what y'all did? This is gonna go.
Yeah. Open the net.
Son, fucking hydrant glider into the stream, fucking up.
What the fuck happened to my face?
You changed dimensions, nigga. I don't know. Go counterclockwise.
You the zombie, Doctor Strange.
You about to turn into the Thing.
Gonna have a chest burster.
It doesn't work.
Nah, you
Anyway.
gotta be a Asian fat kid.
Right.
Wow, he has a name, yo.
He does.
I don't remember his.
I don't-
I only saw one Spider-Man movie.
Yeah,
If I had saw
It's
it,
gonna be the Hobgoblin soon.
yeah, there you go, Hobgoblin, him. I hope they hold on to that. That would actually be a pretty cool arc. But since what's his name's not involved anymore, I don't know if it would matter.
why would they?
Who, Tom Holland is involved.
I thought his contract was up.
No, he's not involved with the new little animated Spider-Man short they got freshman year coming to Disney Plus. He's not involved in that.
That's foolish. People
But
who
he's
say-
coming back. What was that?
People resign contracts, Colin. He could just sign a new contract.
No, I hadn't heard that. I only heard that it had ended because he had said something about wanting to leave acting to raise a family, and that was kind of. After that, I heard Uncharted, and then I just haven't really seen his name or face
I
anymore.
don't know who the fuck he gonna raise a family with, because Zendaya was like 25 is not a time to get married, it's a time to live your life.
That means to be a whore.
Okay.
Wait. They're not. Are they dating
Yeah, they're dating.
for real? Like in real life?
They've been together.
Yeah, in real life.
Yeah,
real
real
life.
life.
Nah, I don't. I that's news to me. I thought that was just like people wanted to see that shit, and they had pictures together.
Nah, they've been together. They people tried to warn them about the Spider-Man curse because every co-star got with each other since the inception of the Spider-Man movies, and it didn't work out for them. But they seem to be going pretty strong.
So when they break up in a year, what are you gonna say?
Fuck it, they're fucking kids. I don't care.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I wouldn't say they're kids. They're like what 31.
Yeah,
Does
they're.
this count as blackface?
Who is that supposed to be?
Nick Fury, you don't see the eye patch?
Did you say
No.
Nick Fury?
Nig Fury? Yeah, that's black.
Nick Fury is what I said.
Wait, yo, he looks like a fucking pirate of the Arabian Seas. Like, who the fuck is that?
We're
He's
here to
looking like
talk
a
about
gold
the
hoop
MCU,
earring.
matey.
Yeah, that one's not the best filter.
It's better than this one.
Is that
What
you,
the fuck is
Carol?
wrong with her hand?
I have no idea what the fuck is wrong with the hands. I guess you're supposed to use your hands and
What
it
the hell?
adds it to the filter, but
She look like she's doing karate. Hiya.
Yeah,
No.
speaking of Miss Carol Danvers, do you think that was kind of around where MCU was starting to take a real kind of switch of vibe?
I really didn't like that movie too much. It seemed like it was pandering to the audience a little too much.
Like the rest of them haven't. That one was really bad, but it wasn't as bad as
Don't make that face, babe. You know it's true. You just don't want to lie. You want to stay with the face.
We'll start with one of the most obvious questions then. Has it put a strain on Hollywood itself?
Has what put it?
The MCU itself. Has it put a strain on Hollywood? Are most movies overshadowed by the new comic book style, so to speak?
I think that was definitely the case for like 10 years. But
Yeah,
now,
we got some pretty awful movies the last 10 years that had nothing to do with Marvel because they're trying to keep up. Or they're trying to keep some other shit to the side because it's like, damn, we're not going to beat that at the box office.
A lot of franchise remakes too because of it.
speaking of which, like of all the franchise remakes that have come out, apparently Top Gun has done phenomenally, and it's one of the few movies that just kind of stayed true to its origin and vibe, and it didn't change things up. And
I hope it's better than the first one because the first one was trash.
I have no idea. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't.
It was trash, bro. Everything
saw
is
the first
trash
one.
until
the second
Goose
one.
dies. After Goose dies, it gets interesting.
I kind of want to see the second one. I haven't seen it yet.
Well,
I'm curious just because everything seems to be a remake or a sequel or some offshoot of something that's already been done. And I think one of the problems with MCU and superhero shit in general is just that it's putting all this weight because there's so much fucking content and there's no quality control on it. The only control there is making sure that there's a consistency of putting some type of message in it. And to me, that doesn't make sense because I get it if you want to add something in there in the background. But if you want to add a message or an agenda to a story that has an established world, you need to make it matter in the context of what exists, not replace what exists with what you want to matter more. That's not compelling. That's not good writing. It's not because necessarily what you're trying to say doesn't matter, which at this point it's fucking tiring most of the time, but it means that you need to just do a good job and make us care, not consider that if we say that was not good, that we're just hating on you because you're doing it different. It's not the case. There's way too much of it. Huh?
Does that mean there's a ghost next to me?
Yes.
What?
Definitely, yes. Definitely does. There's not even a face or a picture or nothing for it to go on. Like
Right.
It's on the bottom of Iron Man's foot.
No, it's not. That's a face.
The face is on the bottom of Iron Man's foot.
Oh,
in
right.
The
I
picture,
see what you're talking about.
Jackie.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's happening right now. I'm not feeling that. You're not supposed to be here. All right. Sorry to interrupt you. That kind of freaked me out. Time to change the filter.
It's all right. I'm just saying that because every single thing that they're producing has some sort of message in it, it's not just trying to put things that fans have wanted to see for a long time. It's just tiring. There's so much fucking content and it's just unnecessary. There's so much that you like. Oh, make sure you go. I'm never gonna go watch the whole show of fucking WandaVision, so I have context to why she's a stupid bitch in the new Doctor Strange movie.
Why they do?
She basically tells you.
Right, but and they did that whole Doctor Strange's movie has nothing to do with him. It has to do with an offshoot series they did with Wanda where she's a complete bitch.
Well, he's a bigger deal, so they got to make him the
It
draw.
wasn't always supposed to be about Wanda being the villain. It was supposed to be Mephisto.
When?
Yeah, I guess they took it out. It was supposed to be Mephisto. Mephisto was supposed to be the enemy in that, manipulating Black Widow to do all of this because of the Darkhold. But they went in a different direction, like they always do.
You know why they did that? Because that would have had a man controlling things, and you couldn't have that. You got to have strong, independent women.
Yep, got to beat the patriarchy one way or another.
Oh, wrong Hulk, brother.
Fuck that guy.
Like, why is it that there can only be strong female characters when the male characters are weakened? That doesn't sound strong.
I mean, now you're digging a little too deep.
I mean, I'm just saying, you know.
Are we talking about Captain Marvel?
We're talking about a lot of these movies at this point.
Because
She was a waste
honestly,
of
all
space.
she did was come and punch somebody, did something, and then he just knocked her the fuck out. She really did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, he fucked that bitch up.
That
Like-
part of Endgame was really bad. Is that a different Iron Man?
I have no idea.
That's Rave, man.
Please, man. What's happening? Now you
That's
look
it. This is the filter that I'm using the whole fucking episode.
great.
That's a good one.
Why is Macho Man Randy Savage on my TV? I'm not even drinking tonight, brother. I'm on antibiotics. Anywho, the MCU, in my opinion, probably did put a little bit of a strain on Hollywood, but I mean, to put pressure on people, you got to make better movies.
Mm,
You said that?
What do you mean?
but
Like
when you
better
say-
movies how? Because that suggests
has to
that the
make better
MCU
movies?
is making good movies.
Yeah, are you saying the rest of Hollywood needs to step up?
Yeah, the rest of Hollywood.
Nah, I mean Hollywood's pretty trash, so yeah, but they can't compete with what the comic book culture has. Like I was talking about the stand base that you people are. It was like you guys are gonna watch this shit no matter what. You guys are heavily invested into all the comic book movies becoming a reality, even if they're bad. You're still gonna want to go see them.
Yeah, Jason.
And the casual fans are the people who are going to be like, I don't really care to see this stuff anymore.
I don't know. I don't like the bad ones, all right?
Which
I don't
is me. That's me. And he wants to see it. And I'm on the side, like, I really don't give a fuck. And he's like, no, we're going to watch this. And I'm like, okay.
You say you're not a fan of the bad ones, but I would argue that the bad ones were clearly bad ones when they dropped the trailers. Like there's a thing such as voting with your dollar, and in the very least, voting with your time. And if it looks like it's going to be trash, just don't fucking watch it.
But you're talking to
With Angelina.
somebody who's really interested in something, they're not going to care about a trailer. They're still going to want to go see it.
There are a plethora of movies that aren't done justice from the trailer. And I'm not just speaking MCU wise, I'm talking about all of Hollywood. There are some movies that the trailer was fucking trash, and then you watch the movie and it's like, wow, the trailer didn't do this any type of justice.
Yeah, I don't really think about trailers too much. I don't care if a trailer is good or bad. If you want to see a movie, you're gonna go see it. Like a trailer's what, 2 minutes, 3 minutes of a 2
Way
hour
too
movie?
fucking long usually.
Right.
Like you can't really judge a movie off a 3-minute trailer or even 7.
Yeah, we do it all the time.
Sometimes the good parts are just in the trailer.
That's
And that's it.
true.
Like I'm doing it right now with the Marvel's first attempt at a Predator movie. I mean, excuse me, Disney's first attempt at a Predator movie.
At a Predator movie?
Yeah,
Yes,
that
sir.
prequel bullshit.
Yeah, Prey. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's about an ancient tribe that has a female warrior for the first time ever. Go fucking figure. Like, again, it's just like you always fucking do this. Like, why couldn't you just have written, there's this tribe back in the day that used to exist. They had female warriors, kind of like the Amazonias of mythical legend or whatever the fuck. That would have been fine. But no, it has to be something more monumental than that. Like, fuck. Why should I care if now every single time that's what's happening in the fucking movie? It's not unique anymore.
Not for you.
Who's it for? Who still gives a fuck?
Women.
Because I feel like a lot of
What the hell
times
are
they're
you
doing
talking
this with
about?
people that don't even watch this shit.
No, they're making these movies and they're pandering to a certain audience, and it's not us.
Right.
It's like I think I'm still trying to figure out who that audience is exactly. Because
I think they are too.
Children.
definitely
for
children for sure. That's definitely one. I'll give
I
yeah.
mean, children and women.
Well, the MCU, yeah.
Bro, if you get children and women to support your cause or your movement, that's really all the money you need.
Bro, I don't care if I have a woman Iron Man or a woman Thor or anything like that. If I'm not a fan and I don't like the superhero shit, I ain't going to fucking watch it. I don't care if it's a superhuman, what is it, Iron Woman and the other one,
Ironheart.
Iron Thor woman. It don't matter. I don't care who's a woman. If I'm not a fan, I'm not going to watch it.
No, but like a lot of women are, or a lot of women get turned into becoming fans because they're like, oh, they made a movie for us now, so they want to go see it. They never really cared before, but when they put some titties on Iron Man, it's like, oh, this is great.
It's funny too because the only reason why anybody can care about these movies is because Disney has the ability to put hundreds of millions of dollars into the marketing of these things. They make sure you fucking know what's going on, even if you don't want to. If you're going online, you're gonna hear about it.
Exactly. Like you were talking about, Hollywood needs to step up. It's like, bro, you can't really try to compete with Disney and Sony putting out fucking propaganda films.
But do you have a choice?
What do you mean? Do we have a choice?
You don't have a choice but to go up against these properties.
Yeah, but you're gonna lose. Like Colin was saying about how they have so much more money to promote their shit. You're not beating them as far as the billboards go. All the commercials they could have, the video games, all this other shit that Marvel can do to push a product. It doesn't have to be good. Like I keep saying that, but people are gonna support it.
Yeah, but there's other ways to get your point of view across. There's a lot of ways to advertise now. You can push
but if
small
somebody
campaigns
already
on TikTok,
paid
that
for
shouldn't
that advertising, you're kind of ass out.
Especially somebody with $1 billion budget.
Right, I could kind of see what you're saying because right now, what was the last superhero movie to come out? Was it Thor: Love and Thunder?
It was Thor and or Doctor Strange. They came out kind of close.
I think Thor came out.
I think Thor was the last one.
Yeah.
Thor came out in July. Yeah.
Okay, then yeah.
Yeah, I can kind of see that because it totally foreshadowed Nope, and Nope looked like a fucking great movie. But Nope did just come out.
Right, and like they can only advertise as much as they can and be off of the merit that it's a Jordan Peele movie.
Yeah,
Like,
but didn't a movie just beat Thor though? What movie just beat Thor?
Well, probably because Thor is a fucking terrible film.
What was that, Dre?
You said Top Gun?
Oh yeah, Top Gun.
Top Gun's been, I think, outperforming everybody.
Nah, it's about to break. I'm pretty sure it broke all the records already.
I don't think so. I think Thor still holds one of them.
Yeah, no. Thor has like one of the biggest opening weekends, I think, for its franchise, 126 million, and then it also holds the record for the biggest drop off the week after. So
it came back the week after that.
Was comeback mean?
Hold on.
I'm surprised that many people wanted to go see Top Gun.
Right. Me too.
Seriously, it's kind of nice that people are still going to theaters because I like the experience at times, but also it's not a lot to go see, especially nowadays that they just release it on streaming shit day one.
Top Gun, 575 million.
It's really
And
because of
somewhere
Tom Cruise,
between
though.
Is
That's
that
why they seen
domestic?
it.
When was this?
It's all because of Tom Cruise. They want to see Tom Cruise do it
July
again.
7th.
He does do all his own stunts. Man's fucking crazy.
He's also short as hell.
Nah, it's not real enough if you use CGI. Just put it on a fucking cord and measure the cord so the blade's right next to my fucking eye, man.
I mean, that's another thing too. Has the MCU taking the thrill out of it? Because now you're hardly on location anymore. It's all shot in front of a green screen, depending on what type of Marvel movie we're talking about.
A lot of movies.
Yeah, I do honestly hate that. I prefer that you did less and you did more on location and mix it with the CGI rather than just CG everything and it's clearly a green screen.
And it's funny that you talk about that too, because I remember being in San Diego for filming Top Gun, and like they were I forgot what ship they were on, but there were people who were like in the command saying, "Oh yeah, we don't gotta go to work today because they're filming Top Gun," and I was like, "Get the fuck out of here!" But there's like, "Nah, they're really doing a movie." In real life, that was like, "Yeah,
That's kind of crazy."
Yeah, Tom Cruise will be on the ship. People were like, "Hey man, don't mess with him. Like just let him do his thing."
Right, he won't kill you. He'll just get the Scientologist to abduct you when you go on shore.
Yeah, they were like, you know how people are. They're like, "Oh, Tom, can I have your autograph?" and blah blah blah. It's like, nah, just go to work, bro. Just do your job.
So Tom Cruise is 5'7", and Tom Holland is 5'8". So Spider-Man is taller than.
They're lying about Tom Cruise's height, just so you know.
Spider-Man's my height, and Tom Cruise is 5'4".
Yes, Tom Cruise is a prepubescent teenage boy in height.
Right, he's like 5'4", if not shorter.
And to anybody out there, if you try to be like, "Are you shaming people who are small?" Be smarter than that, please. Okay.
I'm small myself.
Are you?
I'm 5'8".
Yeah, so am I. I'm 5'8". Like I'm not tall, so like I'm not
What?
saying.
Oh, what? Say something.
I always been short, nigga.
What you said, Dre?
I said you're not that short, are you?
Yeah, I'm 5'8". Why? How
I
tall are you?
was talking about Tallin. Like I don't remember, like Tallin. I remember standing next to you. I'm not that much taller than you.
I'm like 5'8", maybe 5'9", like on a good day if I'm standing straight.
Wait, how tall are you?
Like 6'1".
This nigga's like 6'4", bro.
No, I'm not that tall.
Nah, you've always been like a bit taller than me. Like that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
But
I
that
feel
was just
short.
Tom Holland's 5'7".
So he's 5'8".
Whatever.
He looks like it. Let's just put it that way. He looks.
How tall is Zendaya? Like 6'2"?
Oh, I don't even know.
Right?
I don't know because she looks about his height. No, she's definitely taller. Yes, she got to be
5'11".
She's 5'10".
Yeah.
5'10". No way.
So
There's
he'd be looking up to her.
There.
I mean, height is whatever, you know.
Listen, Tom Cruise may be
Listen,
short
did
in
you
a
hear that,
lot
Pablo?
of ways,
Never hit puberty.
Liz. He can be short in a lot of ways.
Yeah, he never hit puberty. Just ask what's her name? Fucking Katie Holmes.
Katie Holmes.
He did do that thing on Oprah where he was jumping on the couch like a little child. So I don't know.
I'm in
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
love.
The man just laughed for no reason. Like, how fucking creepy is that?
I guess we can all agree that it has put a strain on Hollywood in some aspects.
I think in a lot of aspects.
I don't know about all.
I said a lot.
Yeah, in a lot of aspects, but I think not all of them are bad. I think in some ways it kind of forced, like I said, some some franchises and some writers and directors to step the fuck up.
And what film in the MCU made any real director have to step up,
Hey,
Jason?
that's you know what, and that's a great point because none of the movies are that good as far as the film goes. It's like they're basing the movies off of some shit that we already know kind of how it's gonna end, right? It's not secret.
Kind of, yeah.
They just spent a lot of money, so it looks really good. Like Black Panther looks really good when it comes to cinematography and costume design, but the movies, it's like the acting is good too. But this is not a crazy story. We know what's gonna happen.
Not.
It's predictable.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
Yeah,
bad,
to
but it's
an
predictable.
extent.
And like at a certain level, that's the real challenge of writing in the MCU is taking the story we know and still making it good. And instead of doing that, they're just changing random elements to change
Right,
a
they're changing the
perspective of
source
the
material.
story rather than making it seem like bring anything new that actually expands the universe. Like there should be the comic book stuff and then the MCU stuff, which expanded on different things and did original stuff, not took what was there and then just flipped it over and said, look, it's the thing that you wanted. And it's like, it clearly is not. What the fuck are you talking about? I ordered a piece of cake. This is clearly pie, my guy. Don't give me no fucking pie. I asked for cake.
I understand your frustrations.
I don't think you do.
I do.
I don't think you do because you said that the Hollywood directors need to step up. Like
They do.
I feel like you underestimate. I think the problem is that there's a pervasive lack of good writing, and most of the people that produce out there are major production companies like Sony and Disney, and they just put shit out. They don't care about quality of work. They look at numbers and they look at consumerism as a data collection point. And whatever we're consuming, whatever we're doing, that's what they're going to do because they know that as long as it's within a certain time frame, we're going to consume it, which means they're going to get a maximized profit. They don't give a fuck about making anything that's worthwhile because there's plenty of things that still come out that are worthwhile in seeing, and sometimes they're mentioned, but nobody gives a shit because they're not marketed. They don't have hundreds of millions of dollars for marketing.
Right, like
For
the movie The
marketing.
Northman was pretty fucking good.
There
I
are
hardly heard anything
wonderful
about it.
scripts that go out and they're like, yeah, you can make it, but you're only getting $25 million. And it's like, but you just blew a load on this fuckload of a film, Eternals, and I can't get like a decent thing to work with for a creative, actual original idea. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I can't say they ruined Hollywood because Hollywood was already in a pretty bad spot. So
I
they're
think
probably gonna look
ruining
at,
Agreed.
they're probably gonna
ruining
look at
Hollywood has to be streaming services.
for sure. Yeah, that's gonna ruin the box office.
That's definitely one of the big three legs.
If anything, Marvel and the whole comic book universe is keeping Hollywood afloat because they know those movies are gonna hit every time. Except for a handful.
Exactly.
Yeah, like if you're a production company, you're just gonna say we might as well make a superhero movie or something like that because we know the return on that investment is gonna be worth it.
Yeah, but what properties do you scoop up now? You know what I mean?
There's plenty of shit out there.
I'm still waiting for a fucking Spawn reboot.
They bought Fox, Marvel, and Star
I'm not talking
Wars.
about just Marvel though. What do you come up with now? I'm talking about other production companies. What properties do you scoop up now so you can try to be in this rat race?
The problem is that like I was saying before, they're too concerned with consumerism. Because there was a point where they used to decide what we consumed, and now they just reiterate what we're consuming. And like, it's a weird cyclical thing because they still kind of decide it anyway. But there was a period with Hollywood where like we would see a film, and if we liked it, then they would be like, all right, this was a good idea to roll with. Let's do some more shit. That's where science fiction came from and why there's so many from back in the day that can be really shitty, but also really good for their times. And now it seems more like they are more concerned with the fact that they can make up for what they don't know by taking advantage of marketing and just psychologically making us interested in things by doing checklist points and shit like that, you know?
Right. And that leads us to our second question, though. Like, did it ruin superhero movies in general, the MCU?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it definitely it 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 started out doing something that was really admirable, but I think was way bigger of a task than they thought, and they didn't plan it out well enough, and that was doing a connected universe setup. Because when you look at it, for having been the first ones to do it, overall it's admirable, I guess, for having like 20 movies lead up to a culmination. It's not a fucking shit show, but it's not perfect like people try to act like it is.
Right. No, it does definitely has its flaws.
But they were the first ones to do it. However, because they are the first ones to do it, it took them like what, 20 years? Like what the fuck? Like it didn't take 20 years, but it feels
It was
like
10 years, I think.
It wasn't
They've been
20.
around for so fucking long. It's just like, geez, the investment to create this multiverse thing is why like DC was like, oh, we gotta do the same thing, which is not what they needed to do at
No,
all.
it's not,
not-
because it was
they-
trash.
They got to do it to try to keep up though. You can't take no
Right,
L's
but
like
that's
that.
what I mean. Like they had to, because it was the establishment for years. They took way too long to come out. If they were like more closely from like before they did more than just Iron Man and Cap, if they had started then to start producing things, they could have decided themselves how to do it. But they waited until it was already established, like, nah, if you're not making a multi-connected storyline going on leading to a big moment, you're fucking up. And that forced them into a corner. And it also made just superhero stuff in general kind of pale if it wasn't doing the MCU vibe. Until we started to get a little bit tired of it, and we got stuff like The Boys because of it. Because we've been tired of MCU before, but they didn't fuck up.
The Boys were pretty good.
You see, I don't think it was the Marvel movies that only did that either. What's up?
Thank you. You just gonna pop up and just like act like you've been here the last 40 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Well, hey, my computer was updated, man, and at least I had something to say, because I'm over here a DC and Dark Horse fanboy, so I don't know much about the Marvel universe as y'all do, but I will say one thing: fucking DC movies managed to make a reputation of those action movies being fucking pale in the first place before fucking most Marvel movies were. But what's up, guys?
Hello, sir.
You chilling, talking shit about MCU? Not really talking shit, honestly. We're just talking honest observational point. Because it's not like at this point it's really a thing of like, oh, you're a hater. It's like, no, I'm objectionably looking at the thing that's been growing, and there are problems that are not being addressed by those of you that are just utterly consuming. And I have no problem with utterly consuming if it's always good content. But you guys are just consuming it whether or not. It's like you guys are doing that pink sauce. You're just like, oh, the pink sauce is great. I know this one looks like Pepto-Bismol and this one's really, really light, but it's okay. It's totally safe. Like, nah, I think it's questionable the quality control of that sauce you eat. Maybe you shouldn't have so much sauce.
I see myself. I can't say. I think Jay knows for himself. I can't say I know too much about the actual Marvel universe itself. If
But
anything,
we're talking about MCU.
Yeah,
Not
we're
Right.
not really talking about Marvel as much as talking about the movie, what it's done to Hollywood, or what it's done to.
Like, are you telling me you're such a DC fanboy? You're like, nah, Marvel movies can suck my cock, and you've never seen one?
no. I've seen like the Iron Man series and fucking that Endgame
Out of
and
the 20 movies that built up the Endgame, what percentage of them did you see?
I saw
like loosely. You don't have to be exact, but like, what do you think you would see out of like the 20?
probably literally like 5 of them to be completely total.
Damn.
Just random ones, really, or like really?
Yeah,
just
random ones. Because a lot of the people I used to date and shit were really into the MCU. So like fucking, I would like whenever we would have like movie night or some shit, she'd just throw on like fucking. Well, that's how I see most of the Iron Man series.
Did
So.
she ever express to you why she loved it?
I
so
mean,
much?
if you've seen only 5 movies out of the MCU, but you've seen the Iron Man series, that consists of 3 of the 5 you've seen. So what the fuck have you really seen?
It's in 2. I'm trying to remember myself because like fucking, I don't know. I'm not really good
Have you seen any of the Cap films?
Have you seen any Avengers movie?
Avengers, yes. Okay, so I
Did
seen
you see
the
the original Avengers, or did you see one of
original.
the
Original.
That one sucked.
And as for the reason why she liked fucking MCU, I have no idea. I actually asked her like once or twice, and she's just like, I like the action, and it's like, okay. She was really into like.
Yeah, exactly. Like Jason, Hollywood needs to step it up. Exactly.
Blowing up shit is a good movie. Just if you blow up enough shit and destroy enough buildings, people are gonna want to see.
I mean, yes, that's completely fair too. Not to mention, she was just into like cheesy B movies in general. She really liked the Dwayne Johnson movies.
That's really funny.
I had to suffer through a lot of Dwayne Johnson movies, guys. It fucking sucked.
Oh yeah, Fox movies are really.
Hey, a shout out to the Rundown.
I liked it though. Like I said, you put enough explosions and car crashes in a movie, like it'll be all right.
Well, like, there's nothing wrong with a good time like that, and to be honest, they were doing that pretty well overall from the output, like from the beginning.
Until you start cracking out on it, though. Until you start like cracking out on like nothing but car crashes and explosions, like how the Batman series progressively got.
Well, like the problem with MCU to me is there was never really anything at stake. Like you never saw anything in the films. It was all hypothetical. Nobody ever fucking really died until Endgame, and they didn't really die. They were just erased from existence. Like they didn't exist. I don't think that hurt. It didn't look like it hurt. They looked very like forlorn and shit. It didn't look painful. It looked like you just were not feeling it.
I don't know. A lot of people died before Endgame.
No, yeah, where
Villains,
though? Like
mostly,
when? Like Black Widow got tossed off the cliff and she was ass, and then what else happened?
Besides Bucky, it wasn't really. Like I said, it wasn't really heroes too much. It was mostly villains that they killed.
Right. Villains that didn't get their due in the first place, so it didn't have any weight.
I still have gripes with what they did with Ultron. Like Ultron could have been used in
utter waste, and that was still a decent Avengers movie, but it was still an utter waste of that character.
It doesn't get its recognition like it should. I think it carried that whole fucking.
The hype for Ultron was so fucking real. It got me back into it. Like Ultron, like I was getting out of MCU, and then when that came out, I was like, yo, this looks pretty fucking dope. And then I saw it, and I was like, like yeah, I felt like somebody blue balled me.
And yet, still, without Ultron, you don't have the lead up to Infinity War or Endgame.
True.
I think that's also part of the MCU's problem, though, and it's indicative of the fact they're the first ones doing it, but they never figured it out, and that's that throughout the entirety of it, leading up to Endgame, and even after Endgame, there's no real sense of resolution.
I mean,
it just feels like
when you're the first thing doing something.
No,
time, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
nobody
but
knows how to do it. There's no precedent.
They had 10 years to figure it out, and even with their magnum opus, they couldn't figure out how to make it feel satisfying.
But if you have a satisfying ending, that means you can't reboot the franchise 4 years down the road and make more money off it.
Right, poor writing and stupid. Like it's shit handling of the franchise. Like they're so afraid that people won't want to come back again, even though it's already proven we'll do it. It's proven with Spider-Man. With people we fucking love, you can reboot them if it's not utter trash. We might talk about shit about it later on. But people were like, Electro's okay, I guess, because they were happy to see Spider-Man. And then they were like, nah, you know what? Fuck it, it's ass. I don't want to see it no more. Because
I thought it was bullshit. I thought it was cooler when fucking he actually killed the fucking Green Goblin with his fucking surfboard. I was like, yo, why do they actually have to change that? That was fucking sick. I understand it made an impact on fucking Peter Parker, and like it actually like, you know, it betrayed his quote unquote principles. But at the same time, I don't
Not
know.
really. I feel like if you're really a hero at some point, usually like when the villain you're fighting and have defeated like dozens of times is still trying to murder your family, friends, and random innocents, you should probably put them down.
Impale them with their surfboard. Exactly.
Yeah,
Like,
I love the surfboard.
right? His hoverboard, his surfboard.
Fucking
And then
hoverboard,
maybe he won't
surfboard.
come back multi-dimensionally and kill your aunt.
Right, like, and that honestly, that movie was not as good as it was when you saw it because the nostalgia milk in that shit was fucking delicious. It was great to see, but by the end of the movie, you're kind of like, you know, this is just some regular ass milk. They didn't put no chocolate in here, no vanilla. There's nothing in
What,
it.
you don't like seeing the
And-
three Spider-Mans make quirky jokes to each other the entire time?
Well, like, it would
I
have
will
been
give you-
fine, but they should have split that into 2 films and actually utilized the fact they pretty much had the Sinister Six on screen for the first time. And then they just, most of the time, they're in fucking cages, and it was really just about Ock and Goblin. They should have either just made it about Ock and Goblin, or they should have made it about the Sinister Six fucking shit up in the first movie. And in the second movie, by the end of it, that's when they all kind of meet up as the Spider-Men. They start to resolve, and they're like, they have to pull back. And the second movie is about them actually defeating. That's what they could have did. But it was an utter waste of all those villains because not only were they putting those iconic villains in the same movie with a bunch of different Peter Parkers, these were all people reprising their fucking roles. You can't really just do that like that, especially when it's so far back that it occurred. And they fucked it up.
I like that idea of them reprising the roles, but they could have done it better.
I mean, I think we actually have a point there about them being in cages for most of the movie, too, because I feel like if they actually had them not in the cages, they would have had to do some pretty cool writing. Because there could have been so much more done that.
I agree with you saying it should have been 2 parts. It should have been 2 parts. They should, but it feels like everything right now in the MCU is more of a, I don't even want to say a passing of the torch because it's not all movies are like that, but they all seem to be setting something up and never getting to that point.
That's what I was saying. No satisfying.
Where the first ones did. Right. Right.
I guess you could call it filler.
Leads us to, I guess, our last question of the night. This is going to be a short one. Has it run its course?
No.
I mean, do you mean like, has it run its course, or are they going to keep fucking going anyway?
Oh, they're going to keep going anyway. But has it run its course with mainstream media and the public?
No, because more
you
people
said,
are into
the casual watcher.
The casual fans are going to be done with it, or they're going to feel like, once you kill the big purple guy, I really don't care about seeing anything else.
That's like asking if wrestling has run its course. Like, yeah, we're not in the golden era of wrestling by any means anymore.
That's funny.
Yeah,
right now,
I'll
that's
say
what's on the TV.
it's kind of hard to say it about wrestling, though, because it's a whole new generation of fucking teenagers who are going to want to watch wrestling.
Right, but Marks. That's
but
point,
there's also way more content right now for wrestling than there ever has been.
That too.
That, and you got a new creative director too.
Yeah, but that's for everything. NWA is running shows again. You got things like GCW running shows like the old ECW used to. You have AEW, you got ROH, you got fucking WWE, Impact Wrestling. There's tons.
Well, we've had AEW and Ring of Honor.
IWGP.
We've had AEW and Ring of Honor.
Yeah, but they were never televised. They're televised now.
Right.
New Japan Pro Wrestling is in the United States now, making shows and shit, running garden shows. So it's not like it used to be, not at all.
Well, that's my point, though, is that, like, you know, people have said before, you know, Vince's retirement that, like, WWE is, like, you know, going down the drain, or it's going to be, like, you know, specifically that, like, wrestling is on a downturn. But there's always going to be the fresh supply of people who want to watch that shit. And I feel like the same thing applies to the Marvel movies as well.
Yeah, but
Marvel's not going over.
the new crowd is gonna be casual fans though. Like wrestling is one of those things where if you're into it still, it's probably because you were always into it.
There's
And
marks. There's marks still. Like
you
people
said
who
there's
just
marks.
yeah, that's the term.
Or your
for
parents got you into it.
Yeah, I mean, you used to wrestle, so obviously, you're probably gonna have the family into wrestling.
Mine was by accidentally like watching a WWE SmackDown broadcast when I was like 5 or 6 years old. From ever then, I was like, "Huh, this shit's cool."
And how did that make you feel?
Good inside, Talon. Good inside.
Oh yeah, brother. Good inside, yeah.
That became mildly sexual.
Oh, you started. Go ahead. I've noticed that Jay's been playing with filters this entire night, huh?
Yeah, well,
yeah, Marvel filter night, but obviously not.
I guess he ran out. So,
No, yeah,
kind of
right.
going back with like a little bit before we kind of, because we are kind of going a little bit fast here. In regards to the MCU, Jason, because I think out of everybody here, you're the one person that, as Dre described, and I agree with, you are the stan here. However, I think you're not somebody who never takes a lick of salt. You sometimes go back. So I'm curious to what your thoughts are and what was your viewpoint in general of the MCU and its impact on you? Because you don't really know Marvel as a comics thing. You're more of an MCU thing.
I mean, I know a little bit, little, very minimal on the comics. Like I can get around. Like once you start digging, and I can't keep up. But I know my fair share of the comics. Enough to know some of these.
You know what's not?
What do you mean? What you said?
Do you know what's canon and what's not?
So,
not that even really matters anymore because they changed up so much shit. So it's like, whatever.
Some things, not all. I'm not an expert in by no means. But for the MCU
you don't
or the
you gotta
comics,
be an expert now. We ain't saying
I dabble.
Now, when you say you dabble, did you dabble in the comics as a result of seeing the films and wanting to know more about the context of where it came from, or were you already kind of loosely aware of the comics, and that's what made you more interested in the MCU?
Yeah, I was loosely affiliated with the comics. Like I used to be a comic collector when I was younger, comic reader when I got a little older than that. But it was a part of my life. Action figures were always a part of my life. You know, I loved Marvel, the cartoons especially,
like Spider-Man and such.
Yeah, the Spider-Man, the X-Men. You know, I watched the Iron Man series. I watched the Incredible Hulk series. I watched the fucking short run of the Fantastic Four shit.
Now, so going back to what I was saying before, like, how do you view the MCU? What is your opinion on the MCU, and like, what do you think are its highlights or like its detractions, if any?
As a Marvel fan, in some ways, like my wife said before she left, I do still geek out. Like I got to see the movies. I got to know what's happening. I got to see the shows. I got to watch all of that. I got to know where it fits into where, you know what I mean? But as a avid movie watcher, there's a lot that they can improve on, a lot that we can leave at home the next time they make some of these movies.
Such as?
I don't think you need to pander to us as much as they do. I think letting the story tell itself would be a whole lot better. Some of these movies don't need to be as comedic as they are.
And speaking of that, what do you think of Taika Waititi as a director?
I love him. Like, Thor is not one of those movies where comedy doesn't need to be. I think he hits the right amount of comedy in these movies for Thor. Thor is where the comedy needs to be. I have no gripes with Taika, nor do I have any gripes with James Gunn either.
Okay. I'd argue that one of those is much better at doing comedy in balance as opposed to sacrificing the rest of the film.
Yeah, and I know that was a shot at Taika, but James Gunn is.
See, and if you knew it was a shot, but you said you think he paced it really well with the comedy, why are you lying, Jay?
I guess because it fits well with the Thor movies. Now, do I see him going and branching off like James Gunn did to a DC property and hitting a home run with it also? I don't think so.
He wants to do like an actionless Thor spinoff, right?
Actionless? Is it going to be with that little girl? Because I don't know. Like, I liked the whole, I guess, premise of the last Thor movie, but I didn't like the ending. And full spoilers ahead, so fuck all of you that didn't watch it. But I really don't think Thor ending up adopting Gore's fucking daughter was the way it should have ended. Not at all.
I don't think he should have ended with him wearing an apron like that. For sure. That was unnecessary.
I mean, fuck the apron. It wouldn't have been no apron if he didn't have Gore's daughter. How the fuck did she get resurrected anyway? She didn't have the Dragon Balls.
He used his wish, didn't he?
What wish do you get to the fucking silhouette of Galactus?
Apparently, that from my understanding, the whole premise of the movie is this nigga's like, oh, this god's a fucking asshole. Let me kill him with this convenient sword and kill the rest of the gods. And then he's like, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna wish that all the gods are dead because they're fucking dicks and won't respond to us when we're devout. And then when he gets there, Thor finally, after making his Thor-powered children, which again fucking breaks a whole lot of shit in the MCU, they convince him to not do that, and he just wishes for his daughter, and then he fucking dies, and it's all for nothing.
Right. And then
where was the good part of that movie?
Where do these deaths really mean anything? Also, if you're gonna wait to the end credit scene to say that Heimdall really didn't die in Endgame. And now Jane Foster's not dead either. They're in Valhalla. So where's everybody else that really died? Where's Tony?
Tony is currently being recast or put aside.
I doubt it. I think he's still going to be Robert Downey Jr. I just think he's going to be a hologram.
I think it's going to be disappointing, just like Thor is, as we continue to talk about it, because nothing about it sounds good.
Yeah, I didn't see the last Thor movie, and I don't care to.
Because I haven't watched it, but I made a point to watch videos biased and somewhat on the other side.
I really didn't like that Jane Foster didn't have a fucking bald head. She had cancer in the movie, but didn't have a bald head. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Like, you showed that she was frail. You showed that she was undergoing chemotherapies. You showed that the whole Thor power with Mjolnir was making her cancer worse, essentially, but she still has hair.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what happens when you don't give a fuck about continuity. Because you don't know how to direct and you don't really give a shit about what you're doing. You're just trying to put some shit on screen and get some laughs across. Like, Korg fucking sucks, Jay. I just want to put that out there. That nigga is a side character. He does not deserve that much screen time.
Let me tell you something. Korg I read the whole World War Hulk series. And Korg and Meek, they weren't supposed to be the comic relief at all.
I know. It's really sad that they just fucked Hulk too, which is an entirely different, even entirely different. They just fucked Hulk.
They fuck Hulk not because they want to, but because Universal basically makes it hard for them to do anything with Hulk.
I
They
doubt it. I bet that
No, I'm
Disney's just like,
serious.
we want to do it this way, and Universal is just like, no, do it like this. Disney probably could have figured it out. They have
It's
unbelievable
much
power.
harder than it is with Spider-Man. Much harder. In the end, it would cost them a whole lot more to
It's
do more with the
fucking
Hulk.
Disney. I don't give a fuck. They paid $4.5 billion for franchises. Like, I can't. Oh, it's gonna cost more. Like what? 100 million more? It's the Hulk, you cocksucker. You know why they didn't do that? Because the Hulk is a masculine character, and it's harder to masculize a guy who gets fucking angry. And because he's angry, he's stronger and stronger, and he beats everybody's fucking ass who he comes across, no matter how amazing they are. A la World War Hulk, where they try to kill this nigga, and they send him to a planet, and he got enslaved, and he's like, nah, I'm just trying to get home. And then he becomes the ruler of the fucking planet and brings him back to Earth and fucks Earth up, and the only reason he loses is because he has to lose. He beat everybody's motherfucking ass.
Toxic
There,
masculinity.
there may be a way that they can do a World War Hulk series, but look, it says here, CBR.com reported that Marvel finally explains exactly how its Hulk deal with Universal works. It says here in a story of Marvel Studios, the making of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's noted that Universal and Marvel publicly agreed upon a new deal regarding the Hulk film rights in 2006. However, this only happened after Universal failed to get a sequel to Ang Lee's 2003 Hulk movie in active development by the contracted date. David Maisel, a former Marvel Studios executive who played a key role in getting MCU up and going, subsequently proposed that Marvel Studios make the next Hulk film and pay Universal to distribute it, which resulted in 2008's The Incredible Hulk. This also ensured that Marvel Studios could use Hulk in future multi-character films, beginning with the Avengers in 2012 and continuing to the Avengers Age of Ultron, Thor Ragnarok, Infinity War, and Endgame at the same time. Universal retains the right of first refusal to dispute any future solo Hulk movies, which accounts for the lack of a second solo movie in the MCU. Of course, this hasn't prevented Marvel from giving Hulk a multi-film arc in the MCU, similar to those for characters like Iron Man, Captain America, and Black Widow, as Mark Ruffalo, who took over playing Bruce Banner and the Hulk from Edward Norton in The Incredible Hulk, explained in 2017. Marvel Studios President Chief Executive Officer Kevin Feige pulled me aside before Thor Ragnarok and said, if we were gonna do a standalone Hulk movie, what would it be? Ruffalo told Feige that he had in mind his ideas were integrated into the Ragnarok story, which is why it had elements from World War Hulk. Ruffalo is playing Bruce Banner in the She-Hulk series, which is allowed under Marvel's deal with Universal since it's not a standalone Hulk project. The Incredible Hulk star Tim Roth is also reprising his MCU role as Emil Blonsky, the Abomination, for She-Hulk, having recently lent his vocals to the character for his cameo in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So they have where is it right here? What is it called? The right of first refusal to distribute any further Hulk properties.
But why did they make him a bitch?
Yeah, like, it doesn't
Like
explain
a
what
bitch?
they did.
I don't know. Some think that they're going for the bigger end game with the Hulk, and they're gonna make him Maestro.
You know who thinks that? People who still think the MCU isn't fucking their comic-loving ass. Maestro. You think Disney who the fuck that is yet? They read the things they bought as they need more material to keep selling shit. They don't know what the fuck they have. They don't need to. They just need to know what you want to see and then make that. And it's sad because, like, with the Hulk, I get, like, there's issues that was going on with it and they weren't able to do so, but they should have written his character better, especially if they were going to kind of allude to things. Like, they could have done, I don't know, something creative and been like, well, we can't do World War Hulk as it is. Let's write some sort of similar character arc that allows the same type of catastrophe on Earth. It doesn't even have to go extraplanetary. It's just there's some type of thing, because they had a period where it looked like where Hulk was like he's still trying to figure out his shit, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh no, yeah, guys, I'm fucking hipster. And it's like, when did this happen? When did the Hulk fucking put on glasses and drink coffee like a fucking
Yoga.
He was a Professor
Fucking
Hulk before.
Bro, I was gonna say Professor Hulk. I know is like he's like this weaker persona of the Hulk. It's a more educated version.
That doesn't mean we get that. We know he's a fucking actual doctor, Bruce Banner. We know that. But the character of the Hulk is too scared to fight now.
Yeah, that was the most bullshit thing.
Yeah, he was getting his ass beat so bad. He's like, I don't want to fight no more. Like, that's why did they put that in the movie? That's crazy.
I didn't like that part
actual
either.
Hulk doing yoga and shit like that. It's like, all right, I could understand Dr. Banner being a fucking vegan.
And they shot
cool.
scenes where he came out of that Iron Man suit as the Hulk for that movie, and they just cut it out the movie.
That makes it even worse today.
It does. I love the movies. I am a fanboy, but I don't agree with everything that they do, and I do not like everything that they do.
It almost sounds like it, though.
We won't even talk about the Eternals.
Good. I'm glad we won't have that conversation.
So let's talk about how Endgame is okay.
How Infinity War is better?
It definitely is. Endgame is like going back to what I was saying before about them not being able to tell a fucking story to a conclusion. It's so like we've been with them for 10 years and there's yet to be any real satisfaction from a story. There's just more stories leading to more stories, and then even after a 10-year buildup, there's just more stories.
It's just like the comics.
There's like you can read a series of comics and feel like you read a complete story told in a section of several.
I don't know, yeah, but they still fuck some things up in the comics, like that whole shit with Ben Reilly. They fucked that shit up. The Scarlet Spider, the whole Clone Wars saga.
Yeah, but we're not talking about offshoot people. We're talking about mainline characters.
Well, technically, he was supposed to be a mainline character because he was the clone of Peter Parker who really turned out to be the real Peter Parker.
Right.
And they swerved on that.
But listen, if
and now he's the bad guy.
But you understand that with comics, they have a single series often doesn't have just one writer. Usually they'll get a number, like different writers for a number of issues, and it'll switch out, and that'll affect the tone of things. And often that can lead back to why arcs or ideas fizzle out, or why something was good became kind of stupid, or vice versa at some point in the series. It's because they have different writers. These are oftentimes the same writers or directors writing in a universe they've helped build, and they're fucking up their own universe. They don't give a shit about the source material other than it's something to pull ideas from and then be like, we're gonna do this. They're just being a DJ with what's in their little baggie of shit that they bought for $4 billion or whatever. They don't actually know what's in there. They're just taking shit out and be like, all right, let's smush this in there.
They're gonna treat the movies just like the comics now, especially with the way this multiverse thing is going. They're gonna make it so that they can reboot any franchise they want at any given time, no matter how.
And how does that sound like a quality experience or product you should consume?
But you don't like Doctor Strange being shoved in your Spider-Man movie? Come on.
I would love it if maybe he had a movie to where he was the person of focus and he had a character arc that focused on him, but he's just always a means to an end.
That and further plot vehicling.
I'm hoping Spider-Man 4 fixes what the first.
It's not. I don't know why you're so hopeful. You know it won't.
They have everything set up to make it the way it should be. Except there won't be no Harry Osborn. It won't be Harry. It will be fucking.
They have a setup
this
for
guy.
another
What's
Venom
his
movie.
fucking name?
Hey, now, but just random. The fucking Hulk filter and you talking, it looks hilarious. Like it just looks so
Yeah, it is pretty funny.
Why, thank you, sir.
like it looks funny as hell because it's Hulk's face, but you can see Jay's lips talking. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I like these pop filters. What fuck was I saying?
Who's gonna
You're
be
talking-
the Man movie?
Who's gonna be who? Oh. It makes sense now. You took away Peter Parker. Nobody knows who the fuck Peter Parker is, but now if he does get close to MJ, Ned is the one that's right now technically MJ's best friend, or which would be her, I guess, presumed love interest, or at least he would be in love with her. So
Yeah.
when Peter steps into the limelight and he finds out that Peter is Spider-Man all over again, he'll become the Hobgoblin, and it'll be just like the original, except not with the Green Goblin. I can see where they want to go with that, but I doubt they'll go there.
Because they don't know how to write the story.
I was
Just let
saying,
me
I
write
would
it.
actually watch that. That would be somewhat entertaining.
They should just let me write it. Kevin Feige, I'll help whoever you have writing that movie. Who is it? John Watts? John Watts is going to do Spider-Man 4? Tell him I'll help him with that and Fantastic Four.
Nah, keep the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, Fantastic Four need a rest for a while. They fucked that shit up.
It was
Nah,
never good first, dog.
It'll be
Yeah, you're not
out
lying,
in
bro.
2025, I think.
Silver Surfer is an alright character idea, but he should have been in a different part of the MCU.
I'll say, yeah, he should be way more than just all right.
But I would love to see a Silver Surfer show on Disney Plus.
Why?
Why?
Because I want them to show who he was before the Silver Surfer. And
Why
then
would
how
anybody
he became
care?
the Silver
He's
Surfer.
never been mentioned right now.
Yo, yeah, like this is complete. So a lot of people, like the casuals, they have no idea who this guy is.
Right.
So giving him a television show is like, okay, I guess that works to get his name out there. But
Who the fuck is
You
Echo?
think
I don't
anybody
want to
would have
fucking
watched
see a show
Loki?
about Echo.
Who?
Echo, exactly. She was a fucking mid character in what was that show? God damn it.
Fucking old face.
From what I'm looking up, there was a Silver Surfer film planned and scripted before it was abandoned.
Yeah, because they realized that was fucking stupid.
Because they were gonna do it like Sony. They were gonna fucking mention
No.
Fantastic Four.
No, it's because of who Silver Surfer is directly connected to. They would have to have acknowledged Galactus, and it's way too early to do that. They were doing Thanos. Thanos is the main threat. You can't have the World Eater out here.
Let's see.
He comes later. I guess whenever like all those super powerful gods start giving a fuck about the universe and shit. Like, how the fuck is that okay with you, Jay? Talking about Thor, just all the gods are up there on the planet drinking and fucking, not giving a shit about the universe going to shit with the Infinity Stones. How do you feel about that little caveat in the plot holes of the MCU?
I liked it.
You're a fucking ass.
I liked it. It makes sense.
It
Gods are
makes
about
sense
themselves.
as a plot hole?
Yeah, gods are about themselves. They don't give a fuck.
So they don't give a fuck when suddenly half of them disappear.
Nope.
Yeah, that's lazy writing, Jay.
So it was Echo is a fucking mid enemy character in fucking a mid villain in the Hawkeye show. And now she's getting her own show.
People watched the Hawkeye show?
Of course they. Come on now.
I did. I enjoyed
I
it.
always call him Arrow Boy, not because I intend to, but I literally never remember his name. And I think he actually has one of the cooler superhero names. He's just not cool because they're always like, and he's an Avenger. He's like, he'd be a lot cooler if you just put him with people more like around his level instead of people who can, warp reality and shit.
Well, his series was more to introduce Kate Bishop to the MCU.
Of course it was, because that's all male characters are, as vessels for women now.
But they really did humanize the superhero in the Hawkeye movie. I mean the Hawkeye show, because he's deaf.
Hawkeye's deaf?
Hawkeye is deaf now in one ear.
Okay.
He needs hearing aid. He got for real. You can see that. You can see the effects of all the battles that he's been in with these superheroes and what it's done to his human body.
Right, because
Blew out
somebody
his
told
ears.
him to do that. Because somebody told him, yeah, bro, you on the same level as a man with a suit made of metal you can't afford to buy a pound of, and then like superhumans and magical beings. Somebody told him he could stand with them.
Right.
Nope. Nobody told him about hearing protection.
Yeah, he should sue
Earplugs.
3M for his earplugs. They didn't work.
Yes, he should. He should be a part of that lawsuit.
Nah, bro, that like Hawkeye and Black Widow are characters that should have never been in the Avengers, and they should have chosen a different Avengers group.
They were originally you're supposed to put Ant-Man and the Wasp there, but instead somebody used.
Was there a legal reason why they didn't do that? Or?
I have no idea. I have no idea if there was a legal reason why they didn't do that. But I know it might have been a legal reason at the time. But I know for a fact that once they had the Ant-Man property back, they didn't have to go with Scott Lang Ant-Man and make fucking Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne old ass people.
I mean, they also could have used like Black Bolt. Like, there's a whole bunch of.
There was supposed to be an Inhuman movie, and then they turned it into a fucking C-rate. If that, I'd rate it a D. TV show that was on when
that nobody
the
remembers.
Show was on. Yeah, I didn't watch that shit.
It's fucking like it was.
I do like what they did with Black Bolt in the Multiverse of Madness, though.
Yeah, no, you mean that fucking waste of a character? You know why they did that? They did that so they could put it in the trailer to make sure people would go see the movie. What did they do with those characters? Nothing.
They were there to showcase Wanda's powers.
No, they weren't. They were there to get you there. They were there to get you there. That's what they were there for. Because remember the advertising and how they revealed it, and they're like, "Yeah, multiverse of madness, multiverse. We're gonna have the other people. We got fucking Fantastic Four. We got Black Bolt. We got Illuminati." No, you fucking don't. You got some bullshit to get people to get their asses in the chairs, only to subvert their expectations 30 seconds into the scene.
Right, because that wasn't the Illuminati from the comics by far.
It was fucking trash, Jay, and you need to take off your rose-tinted glasses.
I agree with you on that. Their Illuminati was 100% trash.
But you just said how that was great.
I didn't say the Illuminati was great in Multiverse of Madness.
That you love the Black Bolt stuff.
Yes,
and them
the Black Bolt.
Right.
Particularly when he fucking blew his own head off. Because it showcases his skill and his marvel. What is it? His abilities. His fucking voice can destroy everything, but his skin and teeth are impervious to his powers. So when she took his fucking lips away, he couldn't blow his lips off because his skin is impervious to his power, but his fucking brain is obviously not. That's why it didn't blow out of his head either.
Right, that was a great display of his powers.
Yes, it was.
You are fucking. You're really fucking trying to chill, bro.
It was a good display of how fucking Reed Richards was.
The greatest display of his powers when he blew his head off.
Of a character's powers if they use those powers to kill themselves. That makes no fucking sense.
His abilities is what I said, and I did state that his skin and teeth are impervious to the
right, and the only way to show that is to kill him?
Yes.
Okay.
It was more of a horror movie film.
Okay.
It was a horror movie. A horror Marvel movie. So
gore means horror?
No, that's Thor. Not
Ah,
Multiverse Madness. Whatever. Roadhouse.
I mean, hey, I guess if you like it, you like it. But I mean, damn, my guy, I think there's some other ways to display powers, like the entire MCU. They've done a great job of showing people's powers without murdering them right away.
They just wanted to show him a real quick, get him some airtime, and
It's
then
really about showcasing Scarlet Witch, bro.
we've seen enough.
That was a Scarlet Witch movie. That wasn't a Doctor Strange movie.
Right, and that's also an issue. And I can't believe you like the movie Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness when you can acknowledge yourself it was Scarlet Bitch and her fucking issues that we don't give a shit about. Like this, the whole movie is about her crying over kids that never existed.
And not once did we see fucking Vision.
Like, at what point? Why is this storyline going so far? It exists because they created a TV show to make the storyline.
But they don't stick to the TV show. They don't stick to it in the movies. Like what I just said. At the end of that TV show, Vision comes back as a white Vision because the government rebuilt him. Where was he in this movie? If she's fighting to get their kids back that he doesn't even know he had with her.
Because he didn't.
Because those aren't the kids that he has with her.
They didn't have kids in that universe.
No, they didn't. But also, if they did have them in that universe, if she had them in that universe, it wasn't from Vision.
But she didn't. You're saying
I know, but they're setting it up. They're setting it up because I know they're playing it off like she's dead right now. I don't think she's dead at all.
Setting it up to what end, do you think?
In the comics, Vision had his brain transplanted with fuck his name, Mr. What's his name? Wonder Man or some shit like that.
Mr. Fodder?
No, it's Wonder Man, I think. Simon
Mr. Cannon Fodder.
Simon Williams, Wonder Man. This guy right here. They're setting up his show now, and eventually he's gonna become Vision. Because that's what happens in the comics. And his vision gets with Scarlet Witch.
And why should that fucking matter? That sounds so boring. To focus all this time and money on. Why do I give a fuck about Wonder Man fucking Scarlet Witch? Who do they make that's gonna matter in Phase 10?
Phase 10.
Shout out to that card game.
Just play Uno. Just play Uno. Anyway, there's no end in sight, bro. There's no end in sight.
Nah, you just gonna keep gagging on that nipple.
So is everybody else.
I don't think so. I've never gagged on the nipple of that fucking MCU cow. Sorry.
Endless consumption, Talon. You gotta understand.
Yeah, I was just trying to help homie. I was trying to wake homie up, so to speak, to his own teat sucking.
But never happened.
That nectar is good, I guess.
It sure is. I'll sleep on the chest of Marvel for the rest of my life if I have to.
Straight from the Marvel nip,
what?
dog.
He's a stan. When you're a stan, you won't see the problems in it.
I do see the problems.
No,
but
I don't think you do.
It doesn't stop me from enjoying the content.
I don't think you do,
look,
bro.
When you're a stan, you'll look past the problems and say, fuck it, I don't care.
No, I care. I complain a lot.
No,
I do. But I'll still watch it. I'll still
I think there's a quote to be remembered here. Jay's quote here. I think the greatest display of power in that movie was when the dude blew his own head off.
Yeah, I think that was very, very indicative of how apologetic you're willing to get for poor writing.
No, I just think it's a quote, Jay. I think you should engrave that somewhere.
I will. On my forehead for everyone to see. It was the best showcase of his abilities when he blew his own fucking head off.
Like the man never closed his mouth before. Did she take away his nose?
That's a good point. The ears, nose, and throat are connected to each other.
And I again would like to point out how poorly written this fucking trash is. Be a lover of cinema, goddammit.
Yeah,
Stop
but then
being
again,
so blind.
if you cover your mouth and you cover your nose right now, and you try your hardest to
This
yell,
fucking guy.
there's no way that you're gonna be able to fucking yell through those orifices.
That's not really the point. The point would be that if she shut his mouth, then there is nowhere for it to escape.
Right.
So that means that she should have took his mouth, his nose, his ears, and his asshole. And I don't think they did all that.
Nah.
That's a lot of super glue.
I don't think you're that.
He could have turned around, pulled down a flap in his back of his ass, and just farted her away.
No, your logic is askew.
How is that askew? What the fuck?
That you're trying to insinuate that you can basically throw your fucking voice through either your ears, your nose, or your asshole.
All it is air leaving your body with a vibration.
Do you not know ass ventriloquism?
There's no way you can do that, though.
Just because it hasn't been established in the MCU doesn't mean it can't be written in. It's within logic lines of air leaving the body with a vibration. That's the basic thing of what
no way
is. No, if you're going to defend that the best way to showcase a man's power who can literally obliterate your existence by going, then you as blowing his own fucking head off. Like I don't understand why he can't just turn around and fart away the Scarlet Witch and bring back toxic masculinity for all of us.
Well, I'm telling you right now, there's no way he can do that because his voice is not going to come out of his asshole. His voice is what's making this power tremendous.
You don't know that.
You have no idea.
Can either one of y'all voices come out of your asshole?
Bob Saget does. He comes out of assholes all the times. Even still, he's not even dead.
It did seem like most of your voices tonight did come out of your assholes, though. I'll give that.
See, look at you! You fucking chill.